you need to set goals. You're going to say, why do I need to do so? But once you get a few goals ahead of you, once you're thinking about, okay, what are my goals for the end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the years, or maybe even a 3-year goal, the idea here is that you start focusing on that goal, and then it allows you to find new opportunities because you're paying attention for that. Now, some of you will say, well, you know what? I'm so busy. I'm in a survival mode. I have so much to do that I can't really set goals. Well, I understand that for most of us, often you end up with so much to do that it's hard to focus. However, once you take a moment to think of a goal or a few goals you like, then you start thinking, all these little things that keep you busy, do you need to know, do you need to do them? Or a better question, you say, is that serving me towards my main goals? And I think these are key parts to think about. So today we're going to divide this podcast in 3 parts. First one will be the learner's perspective, the second, the teacher's perspective, and the third one will be the leader's perspective, even though I have a lot of questions for that one. So let's see. If you think of the learner's perspective, I mean, for that, your students, you are in grade 7, 8, you're in high school, university, college, or even you're in an apprenticeship program. The question is, why do I need to set goals? Well, for some people, they'll say, well, my main goal is to get up in the morning and get to school. Well, for some, it's a great way to go about it. However, if this is your most important goal, what will happen is that at some point you might miss the bus here and there. You might notice that you get to school a bit later, you're missing a few assignments, you're going to bed too late because your goal is very close to your current moment. So how do you need to deal with that? So I'll take examples for people in high school. So in high school, especially in grade 9, when you're starting up, the best thing is to look at the idea that you have a semester ahead of you. A semester is 5 months. Within 5 months, we have about 4 months of learning and 1 month of revising everything, doing the final evaluations. Now, giving yourself a 5-month goal is a good goal because you know that you want to work towards a credit. You are looking for achieving specific learning because you want to get ready for the next year. And the idea here is that once you do that, then you realize, okay, I'm in science. I have 4 months to go. What do I need to succeed? In that case, you might look into videos on YouTube. So instead of going on social media and go through videos on YouTube without any specific goals, you're going to focus on specific videos, specific learning to get you towards your main goal. Some people will say, well, my goal is to pass the course. Well, if that's your goal, then at least you need to, at some point, if you're too close to the edge of 50, you might have to work a little harder. Some people, your goal will be at 80. Some people, the goal will be at 92 or even higher. The big question is, once you have a goal, once you do your first evaluations, once you are participating in your class, you will realize that if you want to achieve your goal, at some point you need to take ownership to be able to take the steps needed to get there. And I think that's sometimes why people don't achieve their goals, or they get tired because within a week they feel that it's not moving forward. But if you have, for example, a semester-long goal, I think that's amazing. Now, once you finish once you finish grade 9, then I would say that a good goal will be, okay, I want to graduate high school, in which case it gives you 3 years after that to say, okay, this is where I want to go, and let's see how great I can be. Now, I do know that within the 3 years to going to high school, you will have to learn new things. You're going to have to get new skills to get going. You're going to meet new people. Your ideas and interests will change. And that's all part of the process where by the time you get to grade 11, your ideas would expand beyond your grade 12 years because you're thinking of post-secondary education, either as an apprentice, either as going to college or university. The whole idea here is that once you have a goal and you're directing your energy towards that, then new opportunities come through and then your ideas are growing. And that's how people are stepping up from elementary school. They start in high school and then we want to finish high school. And from there, Let's see what we can do. But without a goal to direct some of your attention, then people will just say, oh, they'll spend some time and it's much harder to get things done. It's like me. During the day, during the week, I'm busy and my time is very well structured. I do a lot of things during the week. During the weekend, I get into Saturday. I have my live on YouTube. That works well. But on Sunday, I usually leave Sunday open to say I'll do what will happen to be with my family, with friends, going outside, and so on. But when I have a Sunday that is unstructured, sometimes I finish the Sunday and I realize, well, I haven't done much during that day. Well, I need to rest. That is true. But having a non-structured day makes me not having specific goals. So a lot of things gets in the way. Sometimes I do what I think is important. Sometimes I totally miss the key ideas for the day. And then at the end of the day, I say, well, I should have done this. I should have done that. So a goal is very important. So these are ideas for the learners. For the teacher's perspective, you have to keep in mind that here again, some teachers, sometimes they're tired. They're looking at a new semester, a new school year. They're doing a day-to-day planning, and sometimes it can be stressful. Once you take some time and you step back and you plan a semester at a time, that is good, because then you have in mind that you have 5 months ahead of you. You're planning a little bit more, but on top of that, once you have set in place where you want to go within those 5 months, then you can focus on opportunities for yourself to learn, but also opportunities to help your students as much as possible. I feel that when a teacher doesn't have an idea of where the semester is going, then the teacher is not as open to what the students need, and that's my professional judgment on this one. But then again, we're all humans. There are times when I feel prepared. There are times when I don't feel prepared at all. And one of the reasons why I'm mentioning this one is that I went to a retirement workshop this evening. And if you think about that, the idea here is retirement is in a few years, but it is something to think about because there's a lot of things need to be put in place. And it's not something that I need to think about the next week, the next year, or the next 2 years. That's something I need to think for a much longer time. And therefore, that will allow me, I think, to be aware of what I need to do. And I'm sure that new opportunities will come through. So this is the idea I have about the teaching, where having goals that are for a semester will help you quite a bit. And the last part is about leadership. The idea here is for leaders, it's tricky. I don't know what is the best thing to consider. Because sometimes leaders come and go within a school, within an organization. Either they get promoted, sometimes they change companies, sometimes they retired, sometimes they have a 5-year planned segment in their team. So that means that they have a set time for which they need to achieve their goals. And I think that could be tricky. I'm thinking about those politicians where they have in Canada, or let's say Ontario here, a 4-year mandate. Within 4 years, there's a lot you can do. But a year is just to get to know your constituent and the politics. 2 years, you're trying to make new things. And then on the 4th year, you try to put in place what you want to do. But then it's the end of the mandate. And then you say, okay, let's go to election. And the hope is, can I go for another 4 years? Or am I going to be out? So I think in politics, knowing that you might be there just for 4 years makes it very short views on what's achievable within society. Anyway, these are my thoughts today. If there's any questions or comments about these ideas, about the fact that you need to set goals, think about that. Now, in the title of the video, I mentioned, do we do goals that are 3-year old? 3-year goal or 5-year goals? 5-year goals is a long time. And I like Elon Musk when he says, when you have a goal that would take 3 or 5 years, set in place all the steps to get there. And then ask yourself, what could I do to shrink the time it takes to achieve that goal? So instead of 3 years, can I do it in 2? Could I do it in 1 or even less than 1 year? Then what happens is that if you have a 3-year goal that you do in a year, then it opens up 2 more years where you can have new goals, grow, and achieve even more. If you have a 5 year goal, which is great, is it possible to take that 5 year goal and do it in 2.5 or 2 years? If you can, may as well do it, because once you've achieved that goal, you would have seen all the possible opportunities to move forward. And then you have 3 years where you can add more goals, in which case you'll be able to do more with the time you have, learn more, be with more people, get to know people, and contribute to society. And this will be the video I have today. Hopefully, you had an amazing week. I will have another amazing week. We have a weekend coming up that we're supposed to have good weather, and I hope to go and pick apples. On this, have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Take care. Bye bye.